Top 5 fun figures from X-Men the Animated Series coming right up. Mr. Clicks Flick is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning role for all your gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Clicks Flicks is also brought to you by TrollandToad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Use the promo code Mr. Clicks Flicks for 5% off your Heroclix order today. Alright guys, so today we are counting down the top 5 most fun figures, in my opinion, from X-Men the Animated Series, the Dark Phoenix Saga. These are in no particular order, and these are just the figures that I am having the most fun with so far out of this set. There will still be a top 10 list, which are the top 10 strongest figures in this set, at least in my opinion. Figures that are on this particular list, it doesn't mean that they're not strong. It just means that I'm having a lot of fun with them. So you may see some crossover between the two lists. Then again, you may not. So in no particular order, let's go ahead and get started. Our first figure is Cable, number 015 in the set. So here he is, and hopefully you're able to get 3 of these because you definitely need 3 copies of this figure. I kind of like when they do this in a set because it means that when you get dupes, it's not, I just got a dupe, so I have to hope to trade it. So let's take a look at what he does. He has a trait which is plus 25 points, and basically what it does is it brings in 2 more cables that are on a different starting line, and then they're on your force. You don't have to tell your opponent which is which because their starting lines match his starting line. Then he has a special on his movement, which is sidestep and phasing teleport. A special on his attack, which is once per turn for all characters with this power, telekinesis as free. And then a special on his defense, stop invulnerability. When this click is revealed, KO all friendly number 015 Cable figures. So pretty cool there. As you can see, decent stat line for 75 points, and even at 100 points, when you look at that, you get a 9 movement, 11 attack, 3 damage, 17 defense. With the X-Men team ability, you can still use their X-Men team ability. This actually isn't bad. He can free TK himself. So here's the thing. It looks like he doesn't have movement attack. It looks bad if you're not thinking. But if you are thinking, he can free TK himself and then attack. So he can TK himself 6 squares, make an attack from 7, which makes a 13 square swing, which is pretty healthy for a figure all by itself. So I've been having a lot of fun with this guy, catching people off guard, using the sidestep, using the free TK, so I'm actually able to get a 15 square swing out of this one figure all by himself. Plus you got the dupes for your opponent to kind of chase around. So it's just really fun. Then you've got probability control back there in the back. He's got indomitability. This is just a fun figure. There's no getting around it. Is he as good as the last Cable figure we got? Probably not, but that other Cable was like 40 more points than this guy. This guy's definitely a lot of fun, and he's actually fairly competitive. I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see him in some popper. Yes, I know that you can't use his dupes in the popper. It's a little bit sad. I hope that they'll change that in the future, but even without that, for 75 points, the ability to basically have a 15 square swing all by himself with decent stats that you're going to pretty easily be able to get up between Beast and Moira McTaggart. You know, you can get him plus 3 to at least his attack, get him up to a 14, and then there's other things you're going to be able to do to increase his damage. This guy is really solid. So here, we'll just keep these guys here in the back. Next up is Mojo. He's number G22 in the set, and don't be too upset about mine. It came broken out of the booster, so I'm still working on contacting WizKids. I haven't even contacted them yet, so no big deal that I don't have it in hand yet, but hopefully they'll be replacing it, or at least getting me a new arm. It wasn't even in the booster. But this guy is super fun to play, and he's actually pretty good. And I loved him in the animated series, and pretty much when I play this figure, I just hear that voice from the animated series in the background. So, what does he do? He's got Mojoverse, Celebrity, Monster, Mystical, and Ruler keywords. Improved movement, ignores characters. He's got 2 traits. First one is Mojo can be targeted by opposing characters 5 more squares away. And then the other one is whenever a character misses all targets of their attack, give Mojo a board token. Free remove 2 board tokens, and to either place Mojo anywhere on the map or make an attack. That's great. So it's opposing or friendly. So you rack those up really fast, surprisingly fast. And then his special on his movement is sidestep. An opposing character uses sidestep. After resolutions, Mojo may move up to 2 squares. So if you're adjacent to, or if your opponent has 3 characters that all use sidestep, each time they use sidestep, you can move 2 squares. So you can see how that can get out of hand real quick, too. He's got 3 different point lines, 250, 175, and 75. All of them are pretty decent. It depends on what build your game is. He's giant size, so he is able to reach from 1 square away for close attacks, which is pretty good. But he is range-based with penetrating Psychic Blast on pretty much most of his starting clicks, except for his last one, which has TK. He starts with Perplex on 2 out of his 3 starting lines, and Probability Control on that 1 in the middle. But overall, this figure is just really fun, highly mobile, and able to actually do a lot of damage. It's just fun, and it gives Celebrity the heavy hitter that they've really been lacking. It's been in my opinion, Celebrity's been a keyword on the rise, and this gives them somebody that you could maybe center a whole team around. And Mojo versus always just fun. So this was definitely a big pickup in my opinion. Next up, we have 040 Sauron, and I love this sculpt. Even if this figure sucked, it would probably make the list just because it's fun. I like to play with fun-looking sculpts. So there he is shooting his little hypno beam things out of his eyes. And he's actually really good too, but he's on this fun list just because he is, well, a lot of fun. He's got Brotherhood of Mutants, Savage Land, Animal, and Scientist keywords. He also has 2 traits and a special on his defense. His first trait is Mutant Brothers and Sisters, so he's able to remove tokens as long as it's not just, or when he removes a token that's other than clearing, he heals a click. So that's good there. Then he's got Poison. When Sauron uses it and damages 1 or more opposing characters, after resolutions, remove an action token from him. So he has a way to heal himself, which is good. Then he's got a Stop Click, which is Stop Support. When Sauron uses it and heals a character, after resolutions, heal Sauron 1 click. So that sounds good, but not great until you take a look at his dial and you realize what that actually means. It means that once he stops, rolls for his support, heals somebody, takes him up to those Steel Energy clicks, at which point if he poisons and Steel Energies, then he can heal 2 clicks basically a turn until he gets up to full dial again. For 85 points, he's got a lot of things going. I kind of wish he had an 18 defense though, but he's got a ton of ways to heal, and he's got that stop click at the end. He's just a lot of fun to play, and it's nice to have another Savage Land guy to play with. You can actually run a 300-point Savage Land theme team now with a bunch of different figures. So, pretty cool there. Next one is one that shouldn't surprise anybody that it's showing up on some list. This may not be the only list that shows up on, but this is Madrix, the colossal number G24 in the set. So as you can see, he's kind of sitting on a pile of himself, which doesn't sound quite right, but there it is. So he's definitely really fun to play with and actually against, albeit a little frustrating. So he's got 2 traits, special on his attack and a special on his damage. Basically, the first trait is, depending on which starting line you start him at, he generates a dupe that can be put beside him. And it just depends on what point line as to how many you get. And then if he would be KO'd while adjacent to a Madrix dupe, instead KO one of those bystanders and turn him to click number 22. So he's basically able to stop himself from getting KO'd. Then he's got another trait, which is when Madrix is hit by an attack or hits with a close attack, after resolutions generate a Madrix dupe bystander. Using Flurry may generate 2 of these bystanders. So as you can see, we're generating bystanders here. And we'll see what they do here in just a minute. Then the special on his attack is Madrix and his magic dupes can use the standard attack and damage powers of opposing characters adjacent to them can use. They lose the power and adjacent or an opposing character is no longer adjacent. So you get the attack and damage powers of adjacent characters, which is phenomenal. Then there is a special on his damage, which shape change when he uses it. On the result of a 5, generate a Madrix dupe bystander. On the result of a 6, generate 2 Madrix dupe bystanders, protected outwit. So pretty neat there. As we can see, he's got a lengthy dial because he is going to be getting hit. But he's got 400 points, 300 points, 200 points, 100 points. Has energy shield deflection his entire dial. And then he kind of alternates with 2 clicks of sidestep, 2 clicks of plasticity, 2 clicks of flurry. And then sprinkled in there is that special on his attack and damage. It looks like the damage special shows up on the first 2 clicks of all of his dials, with the attack special being what's on the rest of that dial until it gets to the next point line. So this guy can just generate a crazy amount of these duplicates. So what are they? They don't look too special when you look at them. 0 range, 6 movement with plasticity, 10 attack, 16 defense, energy shield, 0 damage with empower, until you realize how many of these they can be adjacent to, and you're like, oh, you're dealing like 3 damage with a dupe that you get no points for KOing, and then Madrix can deal, if he's adjacent to 3 of them, he's dealing 7. And then if he's adjacent to 3 of them and he's on his flurry click, that means he's dealing 7 twice. And you can see how it's, getting out of hand. It's really fun. I played against somebody that used this a few different times. It's really frustrating if you're trying to attack them and you realize you knock out like 30 dupes and never actually took out Madrix, so you end up losing. But this is really one of the most fun figures in this set, so I'm super happy that I ended up with one. And the last figure on the top 5 most fun figures from X-Men the Animated Series is Mr. Sinister, Rogue Geneticist. Was there really any doubt? You keep seeing that, I like people that generate things, so this guy's just really cool. I like the sculpt for some inexplicable reason. It's not the best sculpt I've ever seen, but it's also not the worst sculpt. So it's just cool. So he is number 43B of the set. He has a trait, which is basically he's a title character, and then another trait, which is bystanders printed on this card are nasty boys. So those are important for later on. So he starts off with 0 plot points, which is actually pretty odd. But he's got a +1, which is free this turn when Mr. Sinister, Rogue Geneticist, or a nasty boy hits. Give the hit character a DNA sample token. If that character already has a DNA sample token, gain 1 additional plot point. So you're able to gain 2 plot points if you already hit them. -0, which is actually pretty good. Free. This turn, when Mr. Sinister, Rogue Geneticist attacks a character with 1 or more DNA sample tokens, modify attack and damage plus X, where X is your plot points. So let's say you hit them 2 turns in a row, you stacked up 3 plot points, then you're getting +3 to your attack and damage, which is crazy. And then -1, Nasty Boys attack. Free, generating Nasty Boys bystander. Each Nasty Boy bystander has max 1. So they're pretty cool here. We'll take a look at the bystanders first, and then take a look at the actual figure. So as you can see, Slab is a sidestep, close combat expert user. Gorgeous George has that incapacitate, super senses, plasticity, so he's meant to tie up. Ruckus has Pulse Wave and Force Blast. Hairbag has Charge, Blades, Claws, Fangs. So you can see what each of them are basically meant for, and then you have Mr. Sinister hanging out in the back with a 6 range, which is actually fairly respectable. 7 movement with stealth, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 defense, invincible and indomitability, 3 damage with outwit. So 100 point figure. If you get rolling with him, basically the second turn you've hit somebody, he can have a 14 attack for 6 damage all by himself with an outwit. And it's just fun to have all those tokens running around the board is pretty much what this boils down to for me. I like token generators. So Madrix and Sinister actually do a really good job of synergizing with their dupes, or I'm sorry, with their bystanders. Dupes for him, nasty boys for him. That's something that has been kind of lacking. Like, they've always kind of synergized, but man, these guys are really good with each other. So I definitely have just been having fun with them. He's also Savage Land keyword, so you can use him with Sauron, who's also on this list. And yeah, that's it. So you guys let me know in the comments below what your most fun figure is in this set. No judgment here. It doesn't have to be a good figure or anything like that. I always enjoy reading that stuff. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, give it a share. It really helps keep me motivated to make these videos, and it also lets YouTube know that other people might enjoy these videos. That's all I have for you today. As always, please remember this uncritical miss if you don't have probability control.